Minecraft is one of the biggest games in the world, and PvP is a huge aspect of the game that draws a large amount of the player base. But this is you, and you suck. Or maybe you're alright, but by no means good. Of course, that's why you click this video. You want to know how you can be a PvP pro. Well, I'll show you because it's really not that hard. All you need to do is
decode the nuclear launch codes, find the average of the coordinate reciprocal travel to Indonesia, search the Tengoko reserve for actually exactly 3.14159665 square feet, meet Barack Obama, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and roast their luscious hair, then as the Rock punches you, do a triple 360 head open dodge, so he punches the tree, hope the tree splits in half, revealing the scroll saying you need to sing a rap god.
And just like that, you'll be a PvP god. Just kidding. To be real, becoming a god at PvP is not an overnight thing. It'll probably take a few months to get really cracked at the game. Hell, even I'm not a pro yet, but people ask me for a tutorial, so I just had to make a video on it. Anyway, let's get into the first step, settings. You need to find settings that work right for you. I would recommend a higher FOV if you're on a larger device, probably around 85 to 105, and slightly lower FOV if you're on a smaller device, I'd say 80 to 100. As for sensitivity, it's something that you should experiment with, but you obviously want to make sure it's not too high or too low. This is what happens if it's too high. This is what happens if it's too low. And this is somewhere in the middle. I personally use an FOV of 98 and a sensitivity of 45, so if you want your game to be similar to mine, choose something along those lines. As for graphic settings, it really depends on your device. If you have a newer, more powerful device, you shouldn't need to bring them down too much to increase your frame rate. But if you're on lower end devices, I'd recommend zipping everything down for performance enhancements. That's pretty much it for settings. Moving on, we have texture packs. I'm gonna just be real with y'all, there's very little frame rate increasing you can get from texture packs, if at all. Some clients like Sodium can limit your render distance, but that's pretty much the extent of it. However, packs are not supposed to increase FPS. They're meant to change how your game looks, and that they can do really well. Most PvP texture packs feature smaller swords, smoother blocks, and make it easy to identify certain items from afar. Some even provide a transparent inventory so nobody sneaks up on you while you're looting. Some packs that I use are Amethyst 16X in black recolor. This pack features black diamond swords and black diamond armor, and it makes your game look really clean. Another one I'll sometimes use is Icy. It's a 32X pack, but most textures are 16X. It was my first PvP pack, and it's honestly just a classic. Once you've picked out a solid pack or set of packs and you found settings that work for you, you can jump into Pada's practice map, which I'll link in the description, and practice on the PvP bot. First off, you want to know how to strafe. Strafing involves using your diagonal D-pad buttons to move around your opponents while keeping forward momentum, and it's way better than crabbing, which is using the sideways D-pad buttons. And I'm gonna be completely honest here. If you crab, I can't even consider you to be within the same realm as a pro. It's just bad. It doesn't work against good players. So learn how to circle strafe, zigzag strafe, and try to be spontaneous with your strafing before the combo so people can't predict your movement. You should also try learning how to keep a combo with W taps. Now, if you want to be a god at PvP, you kinda need to learn how to time your hits. In Minecraft, when a player or mob takes damage, there is a brief period of time where they are invulnerable to damage. This is shown by the player turning red. When the player is not red, it is an indication that you can hit them again. You want to time your hits so that right before this red effect is gone, you hit them again. This is called 1 CPSing. Once you get this down, it basically does the same thing as jitter clicking, but allows you a lot more control. You also need to aim your hits, but this kind of just improves with practice. But to summarize it, when you're trading, aim for the head because it's the shortest line, and when you're comboing, aim for the feet. That's just Pythagorean theorem. Practice clicking and dragging on the PvP bot for a while until you can track it well and get combos well. Once you've done that, I highly recommend Sumo. Remember to try not to keep your camera still while you 1 CPS. Instead, try to circle the player or have wider strafes, dragging after every hit. This will make it harder for the player to hit you back and will help strengthen your tracking skills in general. Once you're good at Sumo, you should cue boxing or try resistance to get used to better hit trades and combos with less buffed knockback. In the end, once you've done all of that, you can begin confidently incorporating your 1 CPS skills into your regular gameplay. After you've mastered 1 CPS, you should know how to jump reset. Jump resetting is basically anti-KB if you do it right. To jump reset, trade normally and wait till you're about to land on the ground after you get hit. Then right as the other player hits you again, which is usually the same time that you land, hit your jump button. If timed properly, you should be launched forward slightly and it'll give you a free combo. Do note that it's much harder to strafe jump reset than regular jump reset, so I'd recommend jump resetting if you have swap, jump, and sneak enabled. That way you only need to slide down your left finger and jump. That's the basis of PvP, but a couple methods you could use to practice is switching to split if you aren't already a split main, and practicing 1 CPS that way. This will basically force you to train your tracking and movement skills. It's a lot more difficult, but once you switch back to normal, it should feel a little bit easier than before. Another thing you can do is switch between strafing methods to the rabbit combo. This way you get a more well-rounded practice, and your opponent is left clueless. Now, I'm no split player, but if you're a split main, I'd say you should highly consider using Abdullah. Abdullah is essentially just using one finger to move your screen and another to hit the player. Abdullah can be used with touch, but it's much more useful on split. Another strategy you could use is claw. This basically means you use 3 fingers on your D-pad to be able to quickly switch between left and right strafing. Now, of course, if you're one of them iPad kids, you can use both claw and Abdullah. If you fall into this category, you get no bit. As I was saying, I don't personally use either of these, which will slow down my ability to improve, but I don't really mind it all that much. And to close the tutorial off with a bang, I want to talk about styling. Styling in Minecraft is basically like freestyling in Rocket League. It's unnecessary to be good, but if you do it, it can look insane as fuck. Styling includes, but is not limited to, moonwalks, 360s, and flicks. I would suggest learning this after you already have a good foundation, and you can combo fairly well. But that's it from me. To sum up everything, you've heard it a million times, but that's because it works. Practice. I know I threw a lot at you at once, but hey, take it slowly and come back to this video as you need, because I get free flow. Because I want you to improve. Thanks for watching and happy combos.